Hey man, I'm gonna keep it a buck. The Philadelphia Eagles just absolutely baptized the Dallas Cowboys at Lincoln Financial Field. We just lost that game 40 something to like 7 or 10. I don't know. It was really bad, and I ain't gonna lie, bro. You gotta be a sick person to watch that full game. And any of y'all watching this video right now, we're all sickos, because I know y'all watched that game with me and it was ugly. And the Cowboys are trifling. I have no clue why you even throw Trey Lance out there if that's what you plan on doing with him. Bruh, let's get right into this, because the Dallas Cowboys just got their ass beat and it wasn't even close. Wow. All right, y'all, this was the full Cooper Rush experience right here. It looked good when it was against some of those other teams, but you went up against a team that has playoff aspirations, and oh boy, it got ugly really fast in a game that, quite frankly, would have been winnable had we had a real quarterback in the game, but that's neither here nor there. Cooper Rush is a serviceable backup as long as he's not playing against an actual NFL football team. He was not good this game at all, y'all. He had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and largely did absolutely nothing in his game outside of the first couple of drives, where I feel like that's most of where his yards came from. Rico Dowdle had a decent game, 23 carries for 104 yards. He went over 1,000 yards for the season as he broke away from the running back by committee approach that the Cowboys originally tried to employ. Would have been really nice to have a lead back that was on pace for 1,000 yards when you had your starting quarterback in the game, but I digress. And outside of that, this was actually amazing for the Cowboys, because guess what, y'all? The receiving core looked exactly like I thought they would look without CeeDee Lamb out there. Absolute poo cheese, no explosion, no difference makers, nothing out there that's notable that would put fear into an opposing defense. And I hope Jerry Jones, with his old decrepit half glazed over eyeballs, can clearly see now we need more weapons added to this offense, because if this game didn't show you that this offense has no juice at all outside of CeeDee Lamb, then I don't know what to tell you. And those of y'all that are a part of Jake Ferguson FC, look, man, I love Jake Ferguson. I dub the nickname Iceberg Ferg. I like the guy as a player, but let's be completely honest. We allowed the Cowboys hype train to carry him past more than what he actually is, which is an average NFL tight end, bro. Jake Ferguson's skill set or athleticism doesn't demand any more hype other than thinking that he's just going to be a decent NFL tight end, and here or there, every blue moon, he can have a standout game where he gets close to 100 yards and maybe a touchdown. But other than that, he's never going to be one of those guys that you're looking at as an explosive weapon that you have on your side of the field. That tight end position needs to be up for competition by the time 2025 training camp comes around. I'm just saying, we should have been and added another weapon in that tight end room or something to compete with Jake Ferguson. I'm not saying we need to get rid of him. I'm not saying we need to bench him, but we need someone that's as viable as an option as he is there, and someone that can at least have the possibility of being more. Because right now, if you look at him from an athleticism standpoint, from a hands standpoint, he has a lot of times where a ball touches his hands and it ends up hitting the ground afterwards. Even when Dak was playing, even when they were using him more as a seam guy instead of a flat guy, even when he was used in his most prolific season, which was last year, he was still dropping the ball a lot. Ball security was still a little bit of an issue. Yes, he brought a certain demeanor, but that demeanor is really only present whenever he's highly effective in a game. Outside of that, you're really not seeing a lot of that nastiness and that grittiness, that stuff we fell in love with last year when he was jarring with the Seattle Seahawks defenders. We really don't see that at all if he's not having an impact on the game, and this season has just been largely disappointing for Jake Ferguson. No, this is not an indictment for him, but yes, this is me saying, as Cowboys fans, we have to look at him for what he is. He's still a young, developing player that we're really not quite sure exactly how high his ceiling really is. As of right now, I feel like what we saw from him last season was about the peak of his powers. Dak Prescott has a habit of making guys who are just regular NFL players look like slightly above average NFL football players. Bryce Butler, Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz, Jake Ferguson. We've seen this over and over again, where playing with Dak Prescott, these guys have some of the best years of their careers, and they end up demanding contracts or second or third contracts that they probably wouldn't have got had they played elsewhere. And I think that that's shown itself to be true, especially if you look at guys like a Dalton Schultz or Cedric Wilson. Where are these guys at? What are they doing now? Dalton Schultz with the Texans, what is he doing now, right? So Jake Ferguson, your spot should be up for competition next season. Kevontae Turpin is a very interesting weapon. I kind of like how they're using him out of the backfield here and there. I like Kevontae Turpin. I don't mind getting him involved more on the offense, but by no means should he be one of your top 3 or 4 receivers on your depth chart. He should be used as a gadget guy and a return guy mainly. If you're using him as one of your top 3 receivers, you're in trouble. By no means should he be a top 3 receiver on your roster. Yes, he has tons of speed. Yes, he's one of the few guys generating some plays in this game, but still, it's not enough, y'all. It looks like some big plays, but at the end of the day, he only had 34 yards of offense, and it looked like he was given a lot more than that, but it's just not enough. And I'm not indicting these guys or anything like that. At the end of the day, Cooper Rush was the guy throwing them the ball. And Cooper Rush is a good NFL backup, but he's a backup. And by no means is he or anybody that plays at his level of threat to Dak Prescott's job security. And the Cowboys trifling. I don't know why you bring Trey Lance in the game and use him the way you did. Trey Lance didn't even really get a chance to warm up his damn shoulders, bruh. His shoulder was still cold. I doubt he even broke a sweat for real when he was hitting the visitor tunnel on the way out of Lincoln Financial, because that man didn't even get out there and throw the ball. They let him throw the ball 1 yard, bruh, and that was it. Why are they so afraid to play Trey Lance? What is it with that? We're going to have a whole show about the Trey Lance situation and just how much of a debacle this whole thing has been. The defense got absolutely shredded by Kenny Pickett, and it was mainly because of Andrew Booth Jr. Andrew Booth Jr. does not need to be anywhere near Frisco, Texas, Arlington, Texas, or Oxnard, California, as far as I'm concerned, at the end of the season. That man needs to be far away from the Dallas Cowboys organization, because every time he's out there, it is barbecue chicken alert, and even Kenny Pickett knew to pick on him anytime he's seen Andrew Booth out there, bro. This is absolutely ridiculous. I have never seen a cornerback that every time he's on the field is a big play possibility, and that man is absolutely getting cooked any chance he had one good play. He had one good play. I think he was covering a tight end. Maybe he needs to convert to a safety, because cornerback is not his calling in the NFL, bro. And I'm not trying to be rude or mean or nothing, but damn, dude is not good. Dude is not good. And I know I don't want him on the Cowboys, because at the end of the day, man, we trying to have players on this roster that can help us win a championship. And if we ever have to rely on an Andrew Booth Jr. again, we might as well dig our own grave, cover ourselves up, and put our own flower in that mud like an old Bugs Bunny cartoon and say it's raps, because it's over with, bro. He's bad. He's really, really bad. And speaking of really, really bad, bro, we have to figure out how to break away from this nasty trend that I see happening with Micah Parsons way too often. Micah Parsons had 2 tackles in this entire game. One of them was a TFL that was absolutely meaningless at the end of the game. I believe the backup running back was in after Saquon had already run for almost 200 yards on the Cowboys defense, man. We have to figure out how to use Micah Parsons to where, yes, he can be one of the most effective and most disruptive players in the NFL, but man, sticking him over there on that edge, bro, it just seems like it's way too easy to completely eliminate his impact in its entirety from the game. Yes, pressures are cool, it's nice and cute and all that stuff, but dog, even if he was getting pressures, bro, Philly put up 41 points, man. Pressures are not indicative of the actual outcome of a play, and that's why I really hate that stat. That's why I hate throwing it around. That's why I hate that we use that as like the most highly touted Micah Parsons statistic, because it doesn't let you know that, hey, yes, he pressured the quarterback, but the quarterback threw a touchdown on that pressure, or the quarterback completed a 10-yard pass off of that pressure. So I hate that stat. And Micah Parsons just walking away from games where you don't have any actual meaningful impact plays. He has 2 tackles. It's just like, bro, we have to figure out how to use him. Get him off that line. Get him off of that line. He has to play linebacker. We have to move to a 3-4 next season, and he needs to play a lot more off the ball, bro, because this is just, it just kills me to keep seeing this over and over and over again in the biggest games. It's not that he's disappearing, man. It's just that the way he's used is way too easy to game plan out of a game, a pass rusher. It's just way too easy, y'all. It's way too easy for NFL coaches to game plan a pass rusher out of a game. It's harder to do for a shutdown corner. That's why I said shutdown corner to me will always be more impressive on a team than a pass rusher that's great at getting sacks, a double-digit pass rusher, because a shutdown corner, he's impacting every play. He's taking the side of the field away every single play. A pass rusher, bro, you can see they can make his impact very minimal. And no, I'm not blaming nothing that happened on Michael Parsons. This was the Andrew Booth Jr. show, 100%. And it just seemed like it was one of those games where offense was doing nothing to the point to where eventually the defense had to give up some scores. Whew! This was perfect for us, though. This was perfect because Jerry has no other choice but to see that this team needs help offensively. He has no other choice but to see that, man, what we're doing isn't working, and this organization absolutely needs some wholesale changes. And the worst possible thing that could have happened for us today is for us to actually win this game without CeeDee Lamb, with Cooper Rush playing at quarterback. And that would have been the worst case scenario, because that would have encouraged Jerry to sit there and say, we like our guys. But now he can't sit there and say, we like our guys. He actually got to go out there and get some guys that he actually likes. And that's what we need to have to happen as Cowboys fans. And I'm hoping this type of ass whooping, this type of embarrassment will help that cause. And I think that's just where I'm at with this. This doesn't offend me, but Philly should be ashamed of themselves, man. This was like beating down on somebody in a wheelchair. I don't know why they were so happy. They were so just jubilant and celebratory on the sideline. I hope they get their asses busted in the playoffs, because, bruh, y'all are beating up on handicapped people at this point. The Cowboys are handicapped people right now, and y'all happy about beating them. Whatever, bro. We'll see y'all next season, and we still them same old Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still the boy? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.